Any other questions, guys? Yes, a couple.
If you speak loud, you will hear you. I'm not going to pass the mic around.
Okay, I'm just wondering, especially you mentioned that you've got longer on your product and stuff. You probably have small products, or let's say for a month or 2 months. Do you actually write tests on that?
Sorry, I didn't hear that.
If you've got projects running, let's say for a month or 2, you could write anything from mobile application or mobile marketing. Do you still write tests? Do you do testing?
Yeah, that's a really good. It's a really good question. Sometimes we get very, very tactical campaigns. Let me give you an example. Like we did a Facebook tab. You know, when you go to Facebook, they have those applications. Typical one of those takes like 4 or 5 hours to code. So you're there thinking, should I really test this? Should I? So I think myself, I worked with a lot of ThoughtWorks consultants when I was in Australia. So I was drilled into test-driven development. So yes, we do test our code. I think sometimes it depends on the frameworks. I don't want to get into too much technology stuff, but we are Ruby on Rails shop. So I found that most Ruby devs tend to be pro-testing than other programming languages, which I won't mention. But yes, so we do test our code. But what again, to expand further on that, sometimes we don't end up rewriting everything. Like a Facebook tab to collect email addresses, that's something that we've done lots of times. We're just going to go in and change colors, and, tell the client, oh, we spent 2 weeks doing this. Yes, but anyway, to answer your question, yes, we do test. In Ruby, if you're a very good dev, it's not that hard to do, and that's been our discipline from the start.
So I've just got a question around how do you deal with like really small creative ad hoc tasks? So like a logo design or something like that. So you can't really plan it in terms of like a 2-week sprint. How do you guys approach that in an agile fashion?
Yep. So as I was saying, some of the pure design tasks are very hard to. It's very hard to do because many times there's no collaboration. So you won't have something being designed by 2 developers. But what we strive to do is to keep everything within the same process. So we try to avoid that scenario where there's one person working on this thing and it's got nothing to do with everyone else. But typically on such a design task, you would have the account executive, that would be the project owner, because they're the ones who will be, sorry, the product owner, because they're the ones who are, facing the client. The client can't come in to the office, or can't go in there. And we still try and do estimations. They'll still have a retro after the 1-day sprint. Yeah. But and for us, that's sometimes it seems like it's an exercise in utility, but it's just really to get, because a lot of our team actually haven't used Agile before, so let's just keep doing it. Let's be disciplined. We committed to doing it.
So we've got like a discovery. We're looking at like a Kanban type of approach. So it's trying to get like a backlog of work that we prioritize and then go to size and then just get the designers to just pull that workflow and just create a constant flow of work through that. But we're still just trying to get that in place.
Typically in a really big agency, you usually have a role called traffic. I don't know if you guys have a traffic controller. Yeah, because work can get really, really hectic. And what I found from when I was doing development and Agile, you're building one big product. Like you're building a banking software, you're in there every day. So some of these things come natural to you, sitting, doing estimation, and a lot of the Agile methodologies, whether it's Scrum, Kanban, they sort of targeted towards, as I said, software, it's a product, it's something you're building. But I think the principles can still be adapted to different things. I was talking to someone today who was telling me is applied Agile towards building a house. I think definitely you can, as long as you know what your product is, and then you just apply the principles.
Do you guys run your stand-ups per department or per project?
We usually run them per project.
The project.
Yeah. So because we try and keep everyone.
So you would run a stand-up for your creatives, a stand-up for your devs, you'd rather have them in silos and run a stand-up for your project.
Yes, but typically you would have so most of our projects, because we try and actually build stuff, so we're not designing all the time. You would have creative, you have the devs, and client service. I think it's just work for us right now. We don't really have, this is your creative department, this is your creative department, this is your client service department. We actually we tried having something called client services hour. So everybody in the company will spend at least an hour a day talking to clients. It kind of died off. But we were trying to break down some of the barriers in a typical agency.
You said your team together.
Sorry?
It was in the office space. You put the team together.
Yes, we all sit in the same place. It's not the rooms are not like from there to here. So we all sit together. Sorry? No. It's a complete open dining space. So we can hear when client services gossiping about us or creative. Yeah, but it's been interesting for us because we're still small, about 6 now, and we're wondering whether the ease with which we do things right now, whether it's going to carry on once we get much bigger. So once we get to 15 or 20. But I've worked with teams of like 20 developers. Sorry, a whole team of 20, maybe 12 developers and the rest are others. I don't think scalability is a problem for Agile. I think there's been much bigger teams working within such a team.
Guys, anyone else?
Yep, one more.
Mine is just a question with regard to talent acquisition and so on. Obviously, creative, I call them somewhat special. They're different breed from the rest of us because I think the creative process sort of changes them. But how do you manage the transition, the acquisition, and growing of talent in the new agency? And Agile, taking the Agile into play, is it also an Agile? Do you sort of, how do you onboard them, or do you just throw them in? How do you do it?
I think for any, we consider ourselves a startup, and I think you're right. For any startups, human resources is always a very big challenge. So far, we've had 2 staff members leave. We had one who resigned via SMS. Gen Y, Gen Z, how do you resign by SMS? So I'd like to think that we hire based on cultural fit more than technical ability. But sometimes, especially the art director, sometimes you can get a really, really brilliant guy, but you've got no idea when he's going to be able to deliver things. You could just, it's almost like sometimes when you watch them, it's like genius. You just think, how do you do that? Why do you do that? So I think what has worked for us has been, so far we've always picked designers who are interested in development as well. The industry term for them are hybrids, and they're very rare. You get any hybrid, you get a designer who can use some HTML and stuff. They're very, very well sought after. But just as part of our induction program, we have stand-ups. Sorry, they come in, they see the process, they learn. We use, because we try and make everyone have ownership of not just what they're working on, but the entire the entire process. So we refer them to read books like Lean Startup, just to get immersed in that whole idea. In Kenya right now, there's not that many Agile practitioners. I don't know how it is here in South Africa, but we're trying to build a community there. As far as I can tell, there's only one other agency that's practicing Agile, and they had an Agile coach come in from the UK to train them. But ThoughtWorks they've been doing some Agile training, at least in the tech scene in Nairobi. So in terms of Agile adoption, I think it's starting to improve. But in our case, I think it had mostly been what my experiences were, and my co-founders really wanted it. But I think it's still a process. There are things that we still want to do, we want to improve.
Is that it, guys?